As today we'll be doing calculating the changes in working capital using the German and the French approach. So the changes in working capital is an account that is found in your note 1 of your cash flow statement, which is the cash generated from operations or operating activities. So these two approaches, they are not really German or French ways, but then they simply just sound German and French. So going over to the first approach, the German approach, AULER. AULER is an abbreviation of assets increase utilized and liabilities increase generated. The two keywords there, utilized and generated. Utilized is when something is being used or when money is being paid out to other parties. Generated is when money is being received. So as a business, when we're talking about utilized, we will have an outflow of cash in the business. But then when we talk about generated, we will have an inflow of cash in the business. So with our initial understanding of the keywords, we can initially say that in the German approach, when your assets increase, money is being paid out. But then when your liabilities increase, money is being received. So going over to the second approach, add Ludo, the French approach, also as well is an abbreviation of assets decrease generated, liabilities decrease utilized. Very same thing. When your assets decrease, it means that money is being received, and when your liabilities decrease, it simply means as a business you are paying out money. There's an outflow of money. It is important to know that every time when we're talking about utilize, you will always bracket your amounts, as it is shown that there's an outflow of money in the business, of which yields a negative effect in the overall net profit of the business. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples in order to familiarize yourselves with these two approaches. So the first example, I'm given the information that my trade debtors in 2014 there were 70,000, but then in 2015 there were 60,000. So trade debtors are those people that owe money to the business. So initially they are our assets. So as we know that these debtors are our assets, we can clearly see that from 2014 to 2015 they decreased. So the question is, in which approach do our assets decrease? Simple. Our assets decrease in the French method, which is add Ludo. So it simply says that when your assets decrease, money is being generated, but then when your liabilities decrease, your money is being utilized. So as you know, our assets in this instance are decreased. Then we can clearly say that our difference from these two amounts over here, which is 10,000, the business is receiving 10,000, of which holds a positive effect, or you can clearly say there's an inflow of money in the business. So going over to the second examples, our trade creditors. I'm giving them my trade creditors in 2014 were 45,000, but then in 2015 they were 20,000. So I can clearly see that these trade creditors, they decreased from 2014 to 2015. Trade creditors are those people that we as a business owe money to. So initially they are a liability. So where do our liabilities decrease? Simple. Our liabilities only decrease in the French German as well, which is add Ludo. So very same thing, when your assets decrease, money is being received, but then when your liabilities decrease, money is being paid out. So the difference between these two amounts over here would say it is your 25,000. So as we say that every time when we're dealing with a utilized amount, it is always wise to bracket it to show that it has a negative effect and that there's an outflow of cash in the business. Going over to our third example, inventories. I'm given the information that my inventories in 2015 they were 30,000, but then in 2015 they were 25,000. So guys, I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds just to answer this question, and then I can later carry on. Okay, great. So I'm given that my inventories, which is we can initially say that the inventories are the trading stocks in the business, of which we mainly use them in order to generate money in the business. So my inventories, they from 2015 to 2015 from 2015 to 2014. That doesn't sound right. Well, I couldn't just say that from 2015 they were 30,000, but then they decreased to 25,000 to 2015 to 2014. That would be wrong. So I should initially start here at 2014, saying that in 2014 my inventories they were 25,000, but they later increased to 30,000 in 2015. So question is where do my assets increase? So my assets increase in the German approach, which is Using. So initially, as my assets increase, money is being utilized, and every time when we say utilize, we always bracket our amounts to show a negative effect. So we simply find the difference between these two amounts over here. So right now the difference is 5,000.